Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Ah, hello everyone. Um, uh, Here we are at the Lovie Hangout, and we are with the team, the crew, however you want to call it, and well, three representatives, presumably a much bigger team behind the Girls Who Read film that won 2 Lovies this year. And people we have on the Hangout today are Guy Larsen, who's the director, Mark Grist, who's writer and performer.
Yes.
Mark Grist, but I'll take that. Hello.
Right, sorry, Chris. Oh, it's my copy and paste error. I do apologise.
That's all right. I get enough telemarketers getting onto me like that anyway, so I'm used to it.
How embarrassing. I do apologise. And we've got Marta as well from the Roundhouse. So actually, I'll introduce myself and then I'll hand over to you guys to quickly run through and introduce yourselves after my very poor introduction. So I'm the Lovie Co-Chair. My name's Nicolas, and I'm running the session today, and I'm just going to hand over probably to Mark, because your head's currently big in the frame, so it seems like that's a logical starting point. So Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself quickly, and just your connection with the project.
Okay, yeah, I'm a spoken word artist. I met Guy a few years ago when I was performing in Edinburgh, and we talked about taking one of my poems and making them into a short film. We didn't know how we'd manage to do it, though, like financially. It's quite hard. And then we saw about like the Roundhouse were offering some funds to make things. Unfortunately, they got on board. So yeah, we've been worked on Girls Who Read. Took us a few months, a lot of favours that we had to call in, and we got pretty lucky, I think, when it came out. So yeah, we'll take it.
Nice, well done. And over to you, Marta. Just give us a quick summary of your relation to the project, and also it'd be useful for people who don't know the phenomenal Roundhouse, just to give a bit of a background for that as well. Sure. It's quite significant, very significant.
Yeah. So I work at the Roundhouse. I'm the digital productions here producer, and the Roundhouse is an arts venue in Camden, London, who works with about 3,000 young people a year within the ages of 16 and 25, within different art forms like music, performing arts, spoken word, or film. And the online film fund, which is specifically what we awarded Mark and Guy with, is a film fund supported by the Exanio Foundation, which allows us to give a small pocket of money, about £400 per project, plus a lot of mentorship, access to the equipment, access to the facilities. The Roundhouse has a studios facilities with editing rooms, recording studios, cameras, and everything that we need. So, so that allows us to support them farther than just the money that we give them, and then obviously after that we support them in the promotion of the film.
Right. So presumably a lot of the, up and coming or just starting out filmmakers production don't have all of. I mean, they might have 1 or 2 of those things covered, but you kind of provide the whole set.
The reality is that they might have the equipment, because now the equipment is becoming more and more affordable, so people have more access to it. But it's about the mentorship and the support that we can give from the Roundhouse, because the Roundhouse employs artist tutors who are working in the industry and coming over to support the different art forms that we do, so from music to film to spoken word. And so the reality is that it's more about the mentorship and the support that we give them, and also the fact that we have the platform to showcase them. So a spoken word artist often produce shows that will be then performed in our spaces, and music artists have done warm-up shows for a main space act. So they get that extra element, and also being part of a community, because the studios, they relate to each other, they meet each other, and they are working and becoming more collaborative.
Yeah. So over to you, Guy, and so we've already heard a little bit of the stories, which is you met Mark a couple of years ago at Edinburgh, and I mean, just give us a bit of history there. So you presumably saw Mark performing, and you just thought, we've got to do something with this, and we got to distribute it.
Well, I recognise Mark because I watched a YouTube video when he was an English teacher where he took on the pupil in a rap battle.
Yes, I've seen the very same one, and recommend a view.
So when this guy, this Mark Grist fella, was up in Edinburgh, I thought, oh, you know what? I reckon it will be a decent show. So I went and saw it, and it was terrible. And so afterwards, no, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. So we got chatting afterwards, and I was an illustrator at the time, and I said, look, if you ever publish anything, I'd love to draw for it. Yeah. And he agreed, and I sent him over some stuff, and we got chatting. And then as I moved more and more into film and directing films, we chatted about it, and I said, well, why don't we make like a spoken word music video? Because like as far as I was aware, not very many people had done that before, where they properly blended cinema and spoken word. So we put something together and put it out thanks to the Roundhouse. Well, there you go. The rest is on YouTube.
History. But you work. I mean, I sort of know that you work a bit with Vsauce as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So off the back of that, I got a job actually at YouTube working for Vsauce, which is a top science and educational channel run by a guy called Michael Stevens, which is where I am right now in my panic room. And so
is he London based? Or?
He is London based. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he turned up to Lovie Awards. I thought. I imagine him flying over, but that's great. I mean, I love the channel. Right, so I mean, just to open this up, because I think the question that everybody will have for Mark is do you really love girls who read, or is this just a kind of conceptual construct for the sake of creating an interesting lyric and song?
Yeah.
Do you? Where does this come from?
this relentless desire for girls who read. I think what it was I was out. I remember when I wrote it one evening because I was out. A load of guys that I liked. They were nice guys, but they were just talking in a way that I thought was quite derogatory about women. And I went away and I thought about it. And the question they kept asking me was like, "What do you go for?" And they were going on about like tits or ass and all this kind of stuff. What do you go for? And I got thinking, and I thought, well, what if you had to choose like? You look for different kind of things, but I was quite interested in someone who'd read. I think there's a lot of things you get out of reading. Fortunately, my fiance, she's a librarian, so we're all right overall. Well,
I think if you could have just said that, couldn't you? I think that would have answered the question. Okay, good. We got that out of the way. I just wanted to make when interviewing you, obviously need to ask the questions that the audience are thinking about. So that's across that one. That's good. And then a more general one about YouTube. So, I guess a few years ago, it felt like YouTube was a place that videos went when they couldn't go anywhere else, and subsequently kind of developed a bit of a reputation for being such not somewhere where interesting art is happening. But I mean, obviously you're meeting an audience, incredibly well and getting an amazing response. I mean, when you started this process, were you just imagining that you were going to be reaching the audience through that way, or were you going to make a film and then find a home for it? I mean, how did that sort of?
We made the film. The Roundhouse, the online film fund, was designed to go onto their YouTube channel, right. But I think what we accidentally did was we opened up a bit of a debate within ourselves over, well, where does a filmmaker put his film now? Or her film? Do they go around film festivals for a year and a select few people watch it, or do you put it out on YouTube where people have instant access to what they like and what they want, and they can share it around, and putting it up on YouTube gives us direct access to the people that want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, the reality is that the online film fan what looks for is films that will work online, so that they already have a very specific characteristics that will make them good for sharing and working online, so that they are short, that they are snappy, that they have a subject that is relatable, and someone will be engaging with it farther than just the film. So the whole point of the fun is to create a film that will work within that sphere, and obviously YouTube is the best of it because of the social network that has joined around it.
Yeah, and how does that? I mean, I know it's obvious and it's complicated, but I mean, there are a couple of key sort of things that help the audience understand what those differences are and what contributes to something. You know, what are, so if you're going to, I mean, maybe each of you could pick one thing that you think is kind of present in the piece that's really playing to that audience on that platform versus what you may have done if you were going to produce it for television or for a short film. So.
Well, with internet video, because it's usually embedded on their social media or like Facebook or Twitter, unless you instantly get their attention, they can just scroll down, move on without feeling bad about it or having to walk out of a theatre. So, you know, people don't have to endure something that they don't really like at the beginning. They can just move on straight away. So actually, that first line in the poem where it says, so, you know, what do you like? What do you go for in a girl? When we were editing it, we were thinking, okay, shall we do any intros? Shall we do anything that, you know, is visually interesting? And in the end, we thought, well, no, let's just cut in straight with that line. And I think that worked for us.
Yeah, that's something we've kept with the other videos as well, isn't it? The new things we're making, we're very focused on getting straight in because you can't waste time. I think also having rhyme is really useful. I think people are quite keen to follow the whole piece as it progresses all the way through to the end, rather than just kind of turning off part way through.
Yeah.
And finally, a subject that is relatable, that people want to talk about, that they feel that they have an attachment and they feel that they are represented as part of that. Because the reality is that the conversation that generated the film underneath on the comments is bigger than we would expect it. But it triggered a lot of those views because people were keen on talking about it. And yeah, some of the comments are quite odd, and we at the beginning we kept reading them all, and eventually you kind of fell into the comment. But the reality is that people wanted to talk about it, and it was a subject that it touched them because it was general, it was universal.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess to summarise what you were talking about is, you know, it's not thinking, because I think the trap with video is thinking about it as a sort of self-contained, you know, beginning, middle, and end, you know, closed thing. When actually what you're talking about is recognizing that this is part of the conversation, and the success of it is its kind of engagement, or the fact that it starts and you know, provokes, you know, conversation that obviously then ends in more views and more people wanting to understand what people are talking about. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it.
All right, great. Just something, I just wanted to reflect on something, which is, it's kind of interesting that we've got, you know, a bit like I was saying before about YouTube's own kind of journey from being quite trashy to being actually much more, you know, much fuller in spectrum, from, you know, rubbish to amazing, you know, stuff. And, you know, obviously there's a sort of, you know, culture itself is you know, is following that trajectory, and we're beginning, and we're obviously having this discussion because, you know, you've produced something of significance culturally. I mean, it seems to mirror, you know, the spoken word and you know, particularly with music and rap, not seeming, you know, not really being embraced as kind of high culture. And you're sort of, you know, you're working with the Roundhouse, which is very established, and then you're, you know, presenting things on YouTube. It feels like you're kind of, you know, you're blending a lot of things that historically haven't been easy bedfellows, but you're making sense of it, and people are really enjoying it. I mean, I'm just wondering if you could talk around that subject, because I'm sure you have different, you know, interesting perspectives on it.
I've never really thought about it like that. The thing is, I guess what I've found is, if you're going to choose to be a professional poet or spoken word artist, you kind of got to take any opportunity you can get. And if you've got somebody who comes up to you and goes, "Hey, I'm excited by your idea," then you just go for it. And what I've been lucky with, I think, is that Guy and Marta and the Roundhouse as well, along with Marta, have just been really enthusiastic about doing something. So I've never really thought about kind of different spaces for different kind of organizations.
Well, and I think a spoken word has a very special position at the Roundhouse. It's something that we've worked a lot over the past years to hone on our young people, and so joining that with film and being able to create a cross art film that created and brought together those two strands made just a bigger and stronger case for us to have it online. Yeah. But we understand our YouTube channel as the best channel to reach in terms of film. I mean we create we create a lot of content across the year for all of our productions, and also creative content. And we understand that content as key for us to talk about the work that we do, the way that we engage with young people, and also to sell tickets, obviously. But it's all about telling stories. And I think YouTube has managed to allow those stories to travel and to get people from all over the world. I mean, when we do live streams, I find regularly viewers from parts of the world I never thought they would be interested.
Yeah.
We recently did a live stream of a theater performance, and some of the audience came from Pakistan.
Yeah.
And it was a performance from Kate Tempest. So you suddenly realized that the spoken word artist that we know it's very important and very big here also has a following somewhere else, and they are very keen to follow, and they follow live. And Girls Who Read has been seen in every single part of the world. So if you can reach that, you can't reach that from any venue. You have to be online. And your own website won't allow you that. You have to be on a place where everybody is already meeting, which is what YouTube does.
Yeah, and back to Guy as well. I mean, Guy, you're talking about, you're kind of the forking road that you face when producing a film, which is one, stick it on YouTube and press publish, or take it around the the short circuit for a year, hoping it'll get some pickup and get some screenings and whatnot. Maybe get on TV or whatever. I mean, it's not just. I mean, obviously there's a big sort of overhead and practical and cost and effort and energy dimension to that, which is obviously not very compelling when you present it like that. But I mean, back to this kind of high culture, low culture thing. Do you think it matters? Does a cinematic screening have more value than a YouTube screening?
I think it used to. I think it used to. I'm not sure it does anymore. I think in an entertainment industry where your name counts for a lot, if you go around YouTube festivals, it's great because you can. Film festivals, it's good because other filmmakers can see your work, collaborate, network. More opportunities can come around. But if you're a YouTube filmmaker like myself, you put things on YouTube, people can instantly say whether they like it or not, or and as you get more views, subscribers, more opportunities traditionally that would have gone maybe towards the film festival side start coming around to YouTube. So there are lots of people I know from YouTube that have been filmmakers and then been given deals to do bigger production short films. Because they're well known on YouTube, they've got a name, they've got an audience more than anything, and so the film studios that are trying to work out where to go are going, well, let's target the younger filmmakers, and we know exactly where they are. They're all on YouTube. But I think where traditional cinema and online film have forked, I think they will probably come back together, not too far away.
Yeah, because it wasn't so long ago that you to guarantee a strong opening weekend, you just needed to put Arnie in your film, right? So you're predicting that you think the weight of your community toe would be the kind of most comfortable predictor of outcomes in film distribution. I mean, it's not so crazy, right?
Yeah, and I think if you put Arnie in your film on YouTube, it won't help, won't harm it either. Maybe we should do that, Mark. Do you want to do that?
We could try it. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? No, I don't find any real difference from it. I just, when we did Girls Who Read, I just come from filming a Channel 4 show. It was my first time doing something with kind of television, and apart from having like a smaller crew, everything we're doing is essentially this. It's the same thing. It's the same format. It's just you can get things done more quickly, and you can make what you want to make this way.
Yeah, it touches on something really important, I think, which is about the scope for art, or the freedom and the idea. I mean, we hear it a lot in obviously digital stuff, which is this idea of meritocracy. When Guy's explaining how films find their way to audiences traditionally, it's you're still dealing with relatively few gatekeepers and decision makers who can exercise their good taste, but also they can sort of impose or reinforce things they already think, which can be limits. I mean, I guess there's two questions I have. One is, what do you think this means for art more generally? Do you think it's meritocratic? And secondly, what does it mean to those traditional boundaries? So presumably, if you were pitching yourself 10 years ago, you would have been like either be a poet or a hip hop artist, and there's no in between, mate. Forget it. And now there's a bit of a loosening up, and you can kind of find your own way. And if the audiences meet you halfway and they're excited about it, you just continue. You don't need any more validation than that. But I mean, you're one group amongst a lot of different groups who are sort of feel like charting new ground, and I just kind of wonder what your thoughts are on that and where you think that will.
I think all you need is an audience. I think that's what's great about YouTube. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was always teaching as an English teacher and a media teacher. The first thing we look at is who's the target audience of this piece of work, and I think that's it really. You don't need anything more than a group of people who are going to be interested. And I think having a journey that they can go on with you means that you kind of gather more people and that they stay invested in what you're doing. I think that's it. I think kind of we're trying to make behind the scenes videos, talk about kind of what we're producing. We're not expecting to be perfect, but people feel invested, and the Kickstarter helps with that as well, because they kind of get involved in the whole process, and you just keep building audiences as long as you're putting yourself in front of them.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a bit more about the Kickstarter? Because that's I mean, just to give a little bit of background to the audience, you've successfully run a Kickstarter already, so unfortunately, can people still pitch it? No, it's closed.
Closed
so
now.
You've done your raise, and I believe you have created your first film of 3.
Yeah. It was a lot of work to get the Kickstarter together. We had to kind of offer loads of different things. I was writing poems for commission. One guy wanted a poem about the word Rufus, which was his name. So you're writing that, and then another poem about darts for someone, and then someone had Margot and Cecil, their rabbits. They wanted a whole poem about them. So you're kind of doing all these things, but it means you really are you're kind of building your audience and producing things that you know your audience wants, and then they pay ultimately for one big video or 3 big videos. The first big video will be coming out this Thursday.
That is very exciting. And just give us the details of where we can watch that.
YouTube.com/Grist and Larsen.
Brilliant. Cool. All right. Well, that's a nice timely thing. That's a couple of days down the line. We can enjoy that and see how it's going to go. I read that you spent £400 on the first video. So girls who read, you've managed to make on enough money to pay. I don't know. It felt like you could probably.
It all went on
pizzas.
It all went on food and friends. Getting people around. We worked with a brilliant small production team called Or Something Similar, who were very diligent about how we budgeted. I actually had to pitch to him in the middle of a shop to buy the yellow dress that she wears in the bar when she's reading. And he didn't make it easy for me, but I mean that's how you make film on such a micro budget. £400 isn't very much, but actually when we approach the Roundhouse, we're not really going in for the money. We're going in for the support, for the base, and actually when they say yes, it gives you the confidence to say, okay, now people have actually given us their support. We now have to make it, and it spurs you on to actually do it, because otherwise you don't really know if people are going to like it, and it can drag, and ultimately things end up not getting made.
Yeah. So you've raised the ground sum of about £8,000, is that right, for the on Kickstarter? So you blew your target through. That's excellent news. So you're going to be working with a ground sum of approximately 2.5 to 3 on each of these films. So are we going to see? Or is this just all the favours being called?
It's luxurious now. It's we can cover our bus fares and everything. It's great. No, I think we are experimenting a lot more. Like one of the short films we want to really try and put in some animation. We're just trying to kind of do more, and also, to be honest, we have kind of run out of favours a little bit with people. Yeah,
I bet. Especially when they see you chalking up those kinds of views as well. Presumably they're assuming you're doing backroom deals with toothpaste brands and the likes for exposure and mention in your rhymes. You weren't kind of thrown off by the new legislation around making clear your promotional messages when embedded in YouTube clips. You haven't fallen foul of that, presumably.
We're all right at the moment. We might.
I think I saw it with the battle you mentioned a couple of brands. I think it was Lynx or something when you were abusing your young counterpart. I can't remember what it was.
But yeah, I kind of make fun of him for smelling like a teenager's armpit. I think that's the...
Not particularly useful for Lynx. I imagine.
No, not massively. No. So...
and how did you feel about the Lovie Award? Is it one of many accolades, or is it the nicest, heaviest thing that you have to recognise the kind of?
We've had a bit of stuff. We've had the Webbies as well, but it was really cool. Really cool to have those. Yeah, good. I mean, it's obviously part of what we're trying to do is recognise it. Really interesting, groundbreaking stuff. So I mean, it's a really nice fit. So it's great that you found your way to our door and we could recognise the work. So that's really that's excellent.
Thank you.
So going forward, we're going to see a new movie on Thursday, and then are you committed to a release schedule after that, or what are the plans going forward?
One out on Thursday, one out maybe in around May, and another one out in July.
And is there a theme tying them together? Are these sort of triptych as a standalone, or are these developments on Girls Who Read? Or
they're standalone. I think we deliberately wanted to go a different way to Girls Who Read. So we've got the first one, which is more about teaching and how children are portrayed. The second one is a bit more dark and murderous, and the third one we're using marionettes. So they all stand alone, and it gives us a good portfolio of work for the future.
Excellent. Well, we're reaching the conclusion of our discussion this afternoon, and I just wanted to. I've obviously been directing a fair bit with questions, but just wonder if you had any kind of more general reflections on what you're doing, what you're about to do. Given we've got a bunch of people here tuning in. Have you got anything to reflect on, or what's your
Well, I mean, we've just been very busy since, so it took us a while after Girls Who Read to work out that actually crowdfunding was where it's at, because you've got a loyal subscriber base that Mark had already from when he was doing his rap battles, and actually people that are giving money are now invested in the project. So now we can really build on it and go forward. So we've just been really busy with that. So it's all on our YouTube channel. So
yeah. I mean, we're just going to carry on doing stuff. I mean, we enjoy making things. We'll carry on making things. And if anyone sees this who's interested in producing work, I definitely say YouTube is the way forward for finding your audience. Like, it's totally changed my life. In how I produce work and how I kind of make a living. And if anyone's got any money, give us some to make more videos. Like we can do it on quite a budget.
Yes, please.
And moving forward, I mean, it doesn't sound like it bothers you terribly, but obviously with a kind of more traditional celebrity television kind of career, you would know what the next step was and the one after that and the one after that. I mean, it feels like we're all looking forward and we all don't have the answer to that question. I mean, that doesn't freak you out. I mean, you're comfortable with that situation. Every step you make seems to be.
I mean, from my perspective, I don't think I've worked a lot with different TV companies and radio companies, and I think people are trying to find a way to use spoken word in those forms of medium, but they're still struggling to find a show, kind of a vehicle to do it with. So I think, in a way, we've just got to get on and make what we want to make and show them that we can do it ourselves. So they'll take it on.
Yeah, nice one. Marta, have you got anything you'd like to share with us before
Well, no, I mean, Girls Who Read has been an incredible experience, one from which we have learned a lot, and we are very, very grateful to Mark and Guy for putting so much work into it. We released the new online film fans before Christmas, which are also on our YouTube channel, and I very much encourage you to watch them. And we are just starting the production of the next one, which Mark and Guy have personally worked with the filmmakers that have been awarded for this next one, and they will hopefully keep working with them.
Yeah, they'll blow us out of the water. They're looking amazing.
So hopefully in early May we'll be able to release the next few videos and get a lot of another great response from YouTube.
Excellent. And maybe we can have you perform at the next Lovie Awards in November, hopefully.
Hopefully we will.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, guys. Well, from everybody here at the Lovie Awards, thank you very much for your time, and we are really looking forward to seeing your new creation on Thursday. And yeah, thanks again for your time, and we'll log off. And
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Thank
Have
you
a good
very
one.
much.
see you later. Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks.